Good evening and welcome to the Star Chamber Show live podcast, episode number 436. And this is Steven Zimmer joining you live out of Central Kentucky. Yes, it's going to be a great show. This is our Halloween special. Yes, it is. And we have a fantastic show for you coming up tonight. Very special one. And we'll be getting underway with that in just a few minutes. But of course, first we got to bring you up to date on all things Imaginarium because this podcast is affiliated with the Imaginarium Convention. And joining me in just a few minutes will be the lovely, the vivacious, and the loquacious Holly Phillippe. But she is running just a couple minutes behind. But don't worry, never fret. She will be coming aboard, and we're going to have a lot of fun on this show tonight. But I do have some great stuff to share with you on the Imaginarium side of things. We have, of course, every week, we have a lot of exciting activity, and last week was definitely no exception at all. And so, without further ado, I will go through and give you some info. I got a couple of updates. We even got a new sponsor to share with you, as well as several new panelists that were announced. And so, first of all, we wanted to let everybody know that ad space is available in the Imaginarium 2025 official program for reservation. And our ads, of course, are featured in both the print and digital editions. And one thing we like to emphasize is that the digital edition is made available to the general public as a PDF download. And believe me, we get a ton of downloads of the program. So you get a lot more exposure that way, in addition to, of course, the print edition that is handed out to attendees at the convention. So check that on the main site. And of course, the ads do help support the convention. Very helpful. So definitely encourage you to take a look at those because our rates are very, very reasonable. So, and they do help us. So there's one bit of news. And then also we did add four new panelists, and I am going to do my best to get the pronunciation right on one of them, and I hope that I do. And apologize if I get it a little wrong. But we have author, publisher, graphic designer, artist, and cover artist Magade Dunbroch as an official panelist, coming for the first time this year. Also coming back this year, and yes, you might hear this name shortly, is author and podcaster Eva Vertrice. And yes, remember that name. Yeah, just a few minutes from now. And then we also have author Diego Tovar, who is coming to Imaginarium for the first time, and author, editor, publisher, and book blogger Linda Rees, who is returning, and definitely someone that we definitely think the world of and can't wait to see her again. And then earlier today, in fact, we got to unleash the great news that Fabled Forest Books and Gifts of Georgetown, Kentucky is a full Imaginarium 2025 official sponsor. They are in Georgetown, Kentucky. It's a great independent bookstore. I mean, if you like the arts, you're absolutely going to love it. And they are great. And I just had my first book event, as a matter of fact, this past weekend, and it was busy. And I emptied out a few boxes of books. Yeah, we had a lot of books move on Saturday, and it was great. Bobby Craig, the owner, is just amazing and was such a great host. I had Addison and Branson with me helping out, and she just took such good care of all of us. And I got to see a lot of folks that I know and think highly of, who came out to the signing, as well as meeting a lot of new faces. It was a great balance between people that I knew and people that I did not as of that Saturday, but now I do, and it was great. Thank you to everybody that came out. It was really an amazing day, and I am thrilled that Bobby wanted to come aboard as a sponsor because they reflect everything that Imaginarium is about. And and I'd love to have a member of the book community here with us. So yes, I'm very excited about that. So we've got looks like Holly is with us. So let me check and see if we've got a connection. Holly,
I am here.
there you are. And I was just giving all the good updates on all the good stuff going on in Imaginarium. Of course, Fabled Forest. Yeah, unfortunately, you had a good time up in Indiana. You were taking the kids trick or treating and,
Yes.
and whatnot. But yes, it was. We got to get you back to see Bobby because it was.
Yes.
I was just telling everybody it was amazing. And of course, Bobby and Fabled Forest are now sponsors, and we are stoked about that. And I do have a scoop. I'm going to go ahead and let it out because we are going to announce it in the next day. We also have a brand new individual patron, which is going to be getting their own announcement, and that is, drum roll, please. Yes, award-winning author and screenwriter Carol Preflattish. Thank you so
Carol.
much, Carol, for coming aboard as a individual patron of Imaginarium 2025. And yes, you will be getting a grand spotlight and announcement. I think it's scheduled for tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and give you an acknowledgement because I happen to also see. I think you are in. I think I might have seen you enter the room. We got a lot of folks
She
coming
is
in.
in the house.
She in
She
the
is
house. Good.
in here.
We got
Yes.
to get to say thank you to her. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Looks like Duan Hearn, the one and only Moon, is in the chat room. So getting
Mm.
things warmed up. Hello to James Graham. Looks like we have Christine Burgess is in the chat room. All right.
Christine.
Yeah, Christine. Yeah, she is awesome. And yeah, she is a part of the great team that we are going to be talking to tonight. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to go ahead. I think early, Holly, unless you have,
Yes.
do you have any updates or I'm
No, I've got some workshops in the workies, and yeah, I should be able to announce a couple next week. Um, I just am waiting to hear back from the presenters uh, for a few little minor details that I need, and then
great,
I will put them on the program.
fantastic. Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to spotlight the folks that brought you tonight's show just a hair early so I can bring our guests in early.
Yes,
Because I
let's
see
do it.
both of them are in queue. So we can kick this off just a little bit earlier than we normally do. But first, we're going to recognize the one and only Sandy Lender, the genre blender. And then we're going to give you a little bit about those fine folks at Bostet Publications, great member of the indie publishing community, writing community, everything around here. And we just think the world of them. But first, Sandy, and yes, you do need to get this book. It is really good. I can vouch for it. Here you go.
What happens if you schedule a Krampus movie on the Hallmark Channel? You get Silver Bells from Sandy Lender. The reviews are coming in for this new holiday horror, and readers are loving the mature female lead and the spooky Christmas setting. BestThrillers.com gave Silver Bells a highly recommended rating, saying, through striking visuals, Reindeer Creek reads like a mashup of Washington Irving's haunted forests in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the greed-induced decay of Pottersville in It's a Wonderful Life, and the glitzy electric spectacle of The Great Christmas Light Fight. Grab your copy of Silver Bells by Sandy Lender today.
Great book, perfect for Halloween, perfect for Christmas, and even though it says a horror novel, it really does. I mean, if you like mysteries and thrillers and all, you will find a lot to like about it. It really will. It really does appeal across different
It's a
genres.
horror holiday.
Yes, it is. It is,
That's a great
and
time for the holidays.
so now and continue your book buying with Per Bostet Publications, and here's a little bit about them. Per Bostet Publications is a small press based in the Louisville metro area, specializing in speculative fiction and other outside the box books. With 40 titles in print and ebook formats and a handful of audiobooks, Per Bostet offers a little bit of everything. Check out Frenemies in Space, Marion Allen's new science fiction short story collection featuring return character Smart Mouth Connie Phelan. Or try Michael Dabney's latest David Blaze mystery, A Deadly Game, a prequel set in 1984 Philly. You can find these titles and more at perbostetpublications.com, at Amazon, or you can find the press in person at Kentucky and Indiana book fairs and conventions. Per Bostet Publications, where timeless tales unfold. Thank you to the literary triumvirate, Teely Harris, Marion Allen, and Sarah Marion. And so, yes, I'm going to come over here, give a quick shout out to the one and only Devin Hilton, who is in the house. And folks, look out for an announcement.
Devin!
Look out for an Imaginarium announcement on Devin very shortly. Yes, that one's coming up pretty shortly too. So, love to see you in the house, Devin. Exceptionally talented filmmaker, comic creator, screenwriter, and just all around good guy. So, yes, we're going to go ahead and get the big show underway. Yes, it's Halloween, and as I promised you, we have a fantastic show with you. So we have not just one, but two guests tonight. And one of our guests tonight is an amazing author of both nonfiction and fiction, and currently has a great novel called Fiona's Guardians, a vampire novel. That's right, as well as the highly acclaimed book marketing release DIY book promo. He is an Imaginarium favorite already. And of course, he's also a co host of a great podcast called Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva, a great podcast about all things vampires. And so we'd like to welcome first onto the show the wonderful Dan Klefstad.
Hey, Stephen and Holly, it's great to be with you.
Great to be with you.
Man.
But wait, there's more. So also tonight joining us is another fantastic author who has a great vampire novel as well called A Fury. She is also an Imaginarium favorite already and will be attending next summer, and also is a co-host with Dan on the Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva podcast on the PodBean platform. And of course, you know who this is by now. It is the one and the only Eva Vertrice.
Hey,
Welcome aboard.
How are you guys?
Yeah, I had to give both of you full intros. Had to do it because you both deserve it, and you guys are just tearing it up. I mean, it was great. Last week was so fun, and thank you, by the way, for that awesome book bingo graphic you guys did.
Yes, that's so cool.
That was fun. Yeah,
that was really fun.
You guys were at From the Ground Up Books up in LaGrange, their LaGrange location. Oddly enough, I'll be at the Shepherdsville location this Saturday, but you were in LaGrange, and we were, of course, well, I was at the Fabled Forest, but yeah, we had the great Kentucky author bingo graphic, and yeah, I really appreciate that. That was
cool.
Actually,
we've come up with a couple of ideas to maybe have fun with that at the Imaginarium. So I want to talk with you about that.
Oh, I'm sure we'll definitely do it. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be messaging Christine back and forth on the logistics.
Well, I think we have a cocktail date on Saturday.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I'm coming to your town, Lexington.
You are. You're coming. I'm leaving, but I'm coming back. Kentucky Book Fair, folks, at Joseph Beth, a huge event down here in Lexington, and yeah, a ton of authors. Of course, Dan is definitely one of the featured authors there. And down at if you've never been to Joseph Beth, his world-class independent bookstore, it's one of the best in the nation. Mm-hmm. That's not an understatement. It is absolutely phenomenal. And Dan was, Dan's been busy. Yeah, he was at the Louisville Book Fest just a couple of weeks ago, and that's another big one that just happened. And so yeah, you did this From the Ground Up books last week, and now you're doing this week. You're in Lexington, and yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up afterwards. Yeah, we're not too far away, so we'll be back in just enough time to meet up with you.
Yep.
It will be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one, and so yeah, it's you guys are just busy with live events, and of course you're writing. You both got, and I know that you've got lots of readers looking forward to new books from you in both of your worlds. And then of course Vamp Chat is just with Dan and Eva is just taking off. I mean, you guys are doing great.
Yes.
And I have the honor of being a guest with you. Just recently, and proving to people that yes, I do have vampiric beings in my work, and settled that question.
And he lives with a closet vampire, I
do live with one.
Just saying.
Are you sure? You don't sound very closeted.
Yeah, you're
Holly.
not closeted.
No, I'm not really closeted. I'm kind of.
You're pretty in the open
I kind
about
of came out. Yeah, that I am me.
Yeah, you're pretty in the open about all this. And,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I've had dreams, with Holly where she's like a full vampire and all. I've actually had those. So they may not have been dreams. I may have, it may just be an actual memory that she made me think it was a dream. I don't know.
I tell no tales. I'm not saying
vampires can't hypnotize. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
The show format is great. You guys have guests on your show, and of course, I love the conversation we have. But then you also focus on, highlighting great shows and movies as well, and all kinds of things related to the vampire world and folklore, and just this is a fairly new thing. You just concluded your first season tonight, correct?
That is correct. And hey, can we break a little news on your show, Eva?
Yes.
Well, Eva, I'll let you do it.
Okay, well, the success of the first season has been so phenomenal that we actually have decided to extend. And season 2 is going to start on January the 8th. But we've also planned a third season that will actually kick off at the Imaginarium.
Nice.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Season 3 begins. All right.
Yep.
In a big way, I guess on the main stage, from what I understand, we will be streamcasting Vamp
Heck
Chat
yeah, let's do this.
at the Imaginarium.
That sounds
Yes.
like a plan.
Oh, I can't wait to noodle through this one and get this one on the books. This is fantastic.
Well, Imaginarium, you'll have a ton of people that have vampire elements or
Yes.
vampires in their work, so you'll have a lot of folks right up your alley.
Yes.
Definitely.
And you never know what major guests Holly and I may bring in for this year, because
You
there's
never know.
can't
You
say his
never know.
person's name, but there's one in particular that's very vampire related, who I think it's time to try to get back to Imaginarium. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
We'll let
All
y'all
right.
figure it out.
We would let kind of, if you don't mind sneaking us the information, we would love, because our plan with the Imaginarium in the beginning of season 3 is to pull authors at the Imaginarium and interview them, in front of an audience. And we're even talking about how we can pull the audience in with questions. So I mean, we've got some really big plans for that.
Ooh.
We got to get through season 2 first, but that starts on
Right.
January 8th. So.
Yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
we would love to have an author who writes vampire fiction, but then another one possibly who can handle the vampire folklore aspect and talk about the history and anthropology and folklore of vampires. We would love to find someone. If you're listening and you're coming to the Imaginarium, look us up, because we want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you are an expert in vampire folklore,
I know a few people.
yeah, send in a guest application if you are an expert in folklore and things like that, because we love to have academics in our guest list, and we do every year. So
Yeah,
absolutely, that would be
that's
awesome.
that's one of the unique things about our podcast is it's not just interviewing authors of vampire fiction. We our second segment is we actually pull nonfiction folklore in.
Mhm.
And we do the research, and we really really dive into it, and try to find the nuances about where did all of the vampire lore come from.
Fantastic.
And we had a really interesting guest about fanged folklore in that segment. We had a fantastic guest, Professor Michelle E. Moore, who researched William Faulkner's screenplay for a vampire film that was never produced, but it should be. It's a really great story.
Wow.
There's only 4 copies of it in existence.
Yeah,
Wow.
and the person we interviewed has the 4th copy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, it's what's interesting about the screenplay is that it was never, most screenplays, once you get them and they're being produced, they're, rewritten and tweaked, and, bunch of people have their hands on it. This is pure. This is pure Faulkner. It's never been, because it was never produced, it was never tweaked. So it is pure Faulkner.
And that episode, that's episode 6, which will appear at Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva on PodBean. I keep hitting refresh every few seconds. So keep
because we just did it.
Yeah, I gotta listen to this one. I gotta check that one. Yeah. Well, we do have a comment from the chat, and that's Sandy Linder, and she said she'll have more of a horror-centric installment in her vampire satire series by Imaginarium. So by the time Imaginarium rolls around, there you go. Sandy's going to have some more.
I am intrigued.
Yes.
That's a definite possibility there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good series. Yeah, and of course, as we all know, with all the flight mess ups last Imaginarium, poor Sandy was one of those people that had her flight completely, messed up when they had the national crash.
So
Sandy's going to be coming back.
Make it in, and it was
ready to go. So she'll be in rare form. She will be fired up, and
yes,
really
we need to see our Sandy.
Yeah,
we just have to say.
But
gotta have our Sandy. Well, I gotta ask, since it is All Hallows Eve, the eve before we ride.
Got my broom ready, Holly.
Hey, I'm going to send you a message because as long as it don't rain, there's something I might have you might be interested in joining me at tomorrow night.
Okay. All right.
So I'll send you. It's a little blessing circle, and I'll send it to you. But I want to ask you all,
Uh-huh.
what is your Halloween traditions? Do you have any? And I'm going to do a two-parter. What is your must-see vampire movie for the Halloween season?
Oh, Eva, can I go first on this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so regarding the traditions, my wife Susan is an expert decorator, and so she decorates all out on Halloween. The interior of our home, a little bit on the outside, but it's just the whole house is just festooned with Halloween decorations, and we'll leave some of that up probably through mid-November before then she starts working on Christmas. But the vampire film that we watch for Halloween, usually on or around that time, is the 1985 Fright Night,
Yes,
which is
classic.
one of our. We both agree that that's one of the best vampire films
Oh, it is. Have you
out
seen
there.
the
So
new one? Have you seen the new one?
the 2011 one, yes, I did,
It
and
don't
it
compare.
it does not
It don't
compare.
compare.
No,
No.
it's actually unfair that they tried to make it, and they have some good actors in it, but it just was it was
Mm-mm.
doomed to start. It looked like doomed from the start. It just was not going to be a good
Yeah,
movie.
you can't perfect perfection. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe I mentioned that Jerry Dandridge was my favorite film vampire when I was on your show. So,
Yes,
so
that was
yeah,
episode
yeah.
5.
Five.
Actually, we
Yeah.
talked all about that. Yeah.
So I'm on the same page with you. I love that. It was just like a perfect balance of horror and comedy. It would walk that fine line where it had genuine horror moments and then of
Mhm.
course lots of genuine comedy moments and not many movies can do that. They can straddle that very very fine line, and it's one of them. And
Yeah.
that was great. You laugh out loud, and then the next minute you're doing a jump scare. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I have to say that Halloween in my house is almost year round.
Me too. What about that?
That's
I
awesome.
mean,
Yeah, it's
when
24/7 here.
Yeah,
you
it's 24
grow up
7 here.
when you grow up with your mom as a true witch, not a wicked, but as a true mountain witch,
Right.
you have Halloween all year long. So as far as traditions go, one of the things, All Hallows Eve is when the veil is, well, we call it Samhain, but or
So,
I'm
man,
sorry,
yeah,
Samhain. I
Solwyn.
always I annoyed my mom calling it Samhain, but Samhain.
I know
So
a lot of lay people do, and I'm like, it's
Yeah,
potatoes,
and they
potatoes.
know and they know it as
well,
that.
I
Yeah.
only did it to annoy my mom because she hated it. But one of the things is the veil is the thinnest. So one of the things that we do is just we try to I've got some artifacts or articles that were my grandparents, and I always pull them out and hold them and try to just connect with them. So they passed when I was very young, and so it's kind of you can just, it sounds crazy, but you can feel that just feel them with you.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the movie goes, Fright. I was gonna say Fright Night, but now I got to pick another one.
No, you don't. You don't have to do that. It's a great
Well,
movie.
I was trying to think, because that is one of my all-time favorites. But I have to say, the one that I love watching at Halloween is The Lost Boys, the original Lost Boys.
Yeah.
With
Yes.
Peter, and
Very good movie.
that one to
Love
me
it.
is
Lots of
And
fun.
another one that does comedy horror just right.
Lots of
Yeah,
fun.
that one does it
that
too.
movie.
Hmm.
Love that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God, I love that. Yeah, that's and plus and both of those movies just are part of that just wonderful decade. Notice the '80s for me. I
80s,
just
yeah.
love
Right.
it. Gets that
Same
spirit
here.
so well.
Did we just Gen X ourselves? I mean,
No,
did we just
no,
come
I
out?
I know plenty of Gen Zs
Hey, I'm
that
out and
love those.
about. I am
No,
full Gen X and
Oh,
proud.
well,
That's
we
okay.
I'm
are.
X through and through. I'm X
But
through
there's
and through.
lots of Gen Zs that I've met that absolutely adore both of those movies. And
Well, that's encouraging to
yeah.
hear.
Yeah, that is.
Now, mine, if I'm going to answer my own question here, as far as the movies, is God, it's so hard because it's so hard because I love any vampire movie. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. If it's bad or good, it's still a vampire movie, and I love it. You know, I'll read anything vampire, I'll watch anything vampire, it doesn't matter. But I did start the old Nosferatu last night again, but I can't wait to see the new one. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's gonna rock. But I will say, must watches as far as vampire movies, it have to be Queen of the Damned because you know of my love of Lestat.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
And he is my Lestat. Stuart Townsend is my Lestat. Tom Cruise sucks. Stuart Townsend is Lestat through and through. That's my man. So yes, it's got to be Queen of the Damned, and then Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
With
Oh
Gary
my God, with
Oldman.
Gary
Winona
Oldman.
Ryder.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, Holly,
I
you will be happy to know that tonight on Vamp Chat, so one of the things we do with all of our guests is we ask them 4 questions. And one of the questions is, are you Team Louis or Team Lestat? And up to tonight, Dan was ahead 3-0 on
Oh,
Louis. And
oh, come
tonight,
on.
I know. And tonight we racked up 2 points for Team Lestat. So,
Well, hey, my
nice.
count should count for 10 points at least. So
Oh,
Okay,
sure.
I mean,
well,
sure,
it
yeah.
pushes us well over the hump there. Louis, I love Louis. Bless his little heart, as we say in Kentucky. He he's such a whiny little bitch sometimes. You
you
just
know,
it's like, Louis, you've got these powers. You can do anything you want in the world. You're a vampire. For pity's sake, enjoy it. Savor it. Go
Yeah,
drink
all
a
right.
few people. Love it. No,
but
no, don't be drinking rats and it's disgusting.
we still love Steven because Steven, when he was on Vamp Chat, he was Team Louis. So we still love him for it.
It's sad
No,
days.
hey, I
Sad days.
acknowledge what Holly would have picked though on the show. I did
Yes, you
mention
did.
that.
Yes,
Yes,
he
you
I
did.
did.
did
Yes,
mention
he
that.
did. Yes,
I
he
gave you,
did.
And
gave you
therefore, this
credit.
marriage can be saved, right?
Yep. Now I'm going to advance one more here though because well, first of all, I'll give you my pick of must-watch movies. Now Dan, since he did pick Fright Night, that's the one I probably would have picked. But I will also agree with Holly about Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Mhm.
Yeah.
God, Gary Oldman is one of my all-time favorite actors. I
Gary
just
Oldman
think
is
the tone of that
perfection.
movie and the
Ooh,
atmosphere of it is just amazing, and it just really it's
oh,
just such a good, well-made movie. And so that's one. And then I also love the original Salem's Lot, which you guys
Oh yeah.
reviewed wonderfully on your show.
yes.
And but of course, the vampire of them all that should have been part of the poll that you had is and I know Christine's out there knowing what I'm going to say because she kindly reminded me that the new season of this dropped recently. So
Oh my
Holly and I
God,
got
I
to
know.
catch it.
I love
But
my
yes,
little spirit
What We
animal.
Do in the Shadows with the Nandor the
Gotcha.
Relentless. Nandor
Yeah.
the Relentless, the greatest
The
vampire of them
more
all.
we watch this, the
Yes,
more we have decided we are Laszlo and Nasha to a T.
in a lot of
This
Oh,
ways.
season here,
perfect.
In a
Yes,
lot of
Well,
we
ways.
yes.
are. She is
Yeah.
my spirit animal. I swear she is me made over. I love Nasha.
you
Mhm.
will
This
Yeah.
love tonight's episode because we actually for our last episode of this season, we compared What We Do in the Shadows movie versus series. Dan took the movie, I took the series. And
nice.
we did a great
Fun.
comparison of the two. They're perfect parodies. We really dove into it and Naja is my favorite
Oh
character
God,
of all
Oh,
I
time.
yeah.
love
Yeah. She
love
is
this.
Dan,
something.
Well, that's because we are similar. So we're strong, independent. Witches that run around and raise havoc, and that's just us. But
When
yeah,
you
Dan,
see
Dan, Dan even said I mimicked Naja tonight, and Dan
Oh,
said I did an
perfectly. You
excellent
were
job.
perfect.
So
nice.
Yeah.
yes,
nice.
Gregor, my
Gregor.
lover Gregor.
There you go.
When you see the episode where Naja is giving Laszlo trouble while he's pursuing his life's work, just like me as a writer, but
Yeah,
he's
about
creating this
throwing
mess.
all of
And
his body parts around and
yeah,
stuff.
that's
That's
very
me and Steven
similar to
every
Holly and
day.
myself, but not body parts.
Every
Just
day.
so people know, that's not the clutter. But
No,
yeah,
it's
that's Holly and myself.
it's books and vinyl and CDs. That's
Books and
what that is.
vinyl
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm
Just
doing nausea there. Yeah, every day.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's hilarious. We just laughed. I was like, "Oh my god!" So that's like us, and just such a great show though. And yes, and folks, and for my case, go back and watch the episode where Nandor actually flies from the surface of Earth into outer space
He
and then
was
Yes.
the
returns.
first one.
First
Yes.
vampire to do this, and so that's why I consider him the most amazing vampire. But just it kills me that they're saying this is the last season. I hope that somebody
Yeah.
flings too much money
Yeah.
at him to not go forward.
Well,
But I
man,
Or
told
go
man,
Steve, I said
or keep.
the actors and actresses, they're aging. So, vampires don't age. So,
well,
it isn't like
Nandor did twice turn the Euphrates red with blood. And,
Mhm.
that's true.
he had 37 wives and 35 of them he loved.
He did.
Well,
There was only two that caused him trouble.
if they're worried about aging, the actors aging, why don't they just play the characters in a podcast, an audio podcast, just like we're doing right now?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the possibility. Yeah.
That actually would be very fun.
Oh yeah. Let's
I'm
just hope
all
they
in.
don't do it on a Wednesday night, because then
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
'cause that's
Wednesdays
interfering
are
with that.
taken up.
yeah.
No more Wednesdays.
Now,
We
Holly and I
got that.
have run into some Colin Robinsons and sometimes you do run into them out in
Lord
the
have
public.
mercy.
Yeah, if they corner you at a store or something like that. Yes, there are a lot of that type.
No, they
of
stand in
vampire.
front of your vendor table.
Sometimes they do
Yes,
that.
that's true. I've had that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a few that you do encounter from at times. So
Oh, my gosh.
Just suck the life right out of you.
We need a
Yeah.
light. We need a light at each vendor table. That's the psychic vampire light that you hit, alerting everybody to help.
I think that's a great idea. In fact, we should do that at the Imaginarium.
We should.
have at our main
And
expo
only people
table.
in the know,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
know, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
we're gonna have to
Oh.
we'll have to get the actor. Yeah, it slips in my mind, but the actor that plays Nandor, we'll have to get him out to the event at some
Oh,
point.
that would
Well,
be
I
That
do
would be
have
fun.
to ask, you both being vampire authors, which makes my heart happy. And Steve has also got some vampires. This I'll throw at all three of you. How do you make your vampires stand out amongst all the other vampires in literature, movies? What is different about yours that is unique to the vampiric world?
Eva, you want to go
Get it.
first?
Sure. I'll go first. So,
Ladies
Yeah.
first. There you go.
my character's Rachel, and you know, I'm gonna go with two tranches here. In my universe, okay, she is a reincarnated angel. So in the second book, there's going to be a lot of transformation for her. So that's and that's part of the world that I've built. But as far as from a personality standpoint, the one thing that I wanted was an incredibly strong female vampire. And I wanted one who, in my book, she was not turned. There was no love in the way she was turned, put it that way. And so it was against her will, and she embraced it, and she has really grown with it, and she's embraced it, and she's Rachel now. She's very strong. The one thing about her though is she cannot stand two things. She cannot stand rudeness, which is a big pet peeve of mine. That's where I come into my character. She cannot stand rudeness, and she cannot stand men who abuse women. And so, even though she's she's this big vampire, she has these two standards. And so that's, I think, what makes her a little bit different, because most vampires will kill indiscriminately. Some try to hold on to their humanity, and then they go and they try to kill bad guys or things like that. She has no qualm with humanity. She just has these two standards, and she runs
I
into
like her.
situations where she's given the opportunity to rectify some wrongs.
Yeah. So with Fiona's Guardians, the vampire Fiona, a 250-year-old who needs 10 pints of human blood every night. Early on in the book, we hear a signature line from her that we only hear once in the entire book. Is she says, "I am in the business of surviving." And so what she does is she hires humans. For the last century, she has hired humans to find blood for her. She's rather innovative among her vampire family, and she would rather not have murder police showing up at her door during the daytime when she's trying to sleep. So the humans get the blood. And at this point, since the 1980s, she's had a guardian named Daniel. They're not a familiar, but I call them guardians because there's a much more more responsibility, I guess you'd say.
It's
And
not Guillermo.
it's not Guillermo. I love Guillermo, but it's
I
not
do too.
Guillermo. The vampire Fiona needs Daniel to fulfill his duty of getting the blood, managing her blood supply with a nationwide network of people who work inside hospitals who steal a little bit of blood here and there so it won't be noticed. And then because Fiona wants to keep it a business relationship, the people who in the hospitals sell it to Daniel or his designated representative, and then she's able to survive and thrive. However, so it's not only just a twist on the vampire familiar part, but I do like a good vampire hunter story. And so I go back into an ancient. I created an ancient order within the Vatican called Mors Strigae, or Death to Vampires, that has been revived, and they're using modern technology like drones and thermal imagers and bullets with hard wood tips, that could be more effective than a stake through the heart. And so they're battling now this group who is dedicated. Their whole mission is to kill vampires and the humans who work with them. And that's Fiona's Guardians.
Yes.
So
awesome.
how many books in this series, if it's a series, would you want to talk about that? How many books do we expect?
Well, for Fiona's Guardians, I'm working on the sequel. I hope to have it finished in time for publication next fall. And then I don't know if there will be a third, but I suspect I suspect there will be, because everybody loves a trilogy. 3 is a magic number, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, mine
All
actually
right,
is
Steve.
mine is
Oh,
a
go ahead.
trilogy. Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry. Mine is a trilogy. It's a
correct.
Fury, a Hellish Fury, and a Heavenly Fury. So
Nice.
I have the entire story, but it's just so big with so many characters because I pull from biblical, mythological, and historical characters into the book, and it's an entire world. So it was too big for one. It was too big for 2 books.
And the beauty of a trilogy, as you know, is you can always have novellas from your B characters. That's why we always say to forget those B characters, because they, take a life of their own, and they can run because they're beautiful too. And so, yeah, I mean, you can, there's endless possibilities.
Well, that's really good advice, and actually, I think I might take that. So, thank you,
Yes,
Holly. Appreciate that.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Never forget those B
And you never know
characters.
what might happen because, of course, Michael Williams, our dear friend, who one of the original Dragonlance authors, who just a fabulous, fabulous individual. If you've been Imaginarium, you may have been to one of his panels and workshops. But he is currently working on the 5th book of his City Quartet. So there you go. So you never know what
Me
may
and him,
happen.
he and I worked on these covers and had this whole thing figured out, and we were on the same page, and he's one of our authors, now, and then he decides, well, it's going to take another life of its own. My quartet is going to be a 5th element. Okay. All right.
So you never know what might happen.
That's right.
Your trilogy may become you might be writing the 4th book
A
of
quartet.
your trilogy.
Yeah.
At some point.
So, Stephen, what makes yours stand out?
Well, I'll answer real quick because I know we want to talk to Eva and Dan, but
Mm-hmm.
my Sharir Mord in my Raiden Valkyrie world, they are they can be killed, but they are immortal as far as aging and whatnot. But they can procreate, and it's done in a very slow manner. So it's something that is a vulnerability with them, and that comes out a little bit more in future tales. But they also were very steeped in occult arts, and they have a real interest in portals and creating bridges to other realms. With other realms, whether they're non-physical or even physical. So they're very much into kind of sorcery, and they are. Like I said, they are an actual race of beings. So yeah, you can't get bitten by one and turned into one, but they are their own thing. So I think some of those elements do give them. I mean, everything I think is out there in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that authors have to do is just simply put their own voice to it, because somebody has done something in some form that echoes a lot of these things. But yeah, I just got to put my own voice to it and make
Yeah,
it
a little
part of
spin.
Raiden's world. But I do think some of
Mm-hmm.
those elements make them interesting because they're not, I guess, common to a lot of vampire stories. Some
Right.
of the dynamics with the Sharir Mord. So I think it does make it interesting for if you're looking at something that's it is a fantasy a heroic fantasy kind of tales that they're in, but they do have some horror elements and dark fantasy elements. So yeah, I hope folks check them out.
Yeah, and we were thrilled to have you talk about them on episode 5 of Vamp Chat, and
Yeah.
we got a lot of response for that. So I think people in the vampire universe would agree that the Sharir Mord are really good characters.
They're fun. They
Yeah.
are fun.
Well, I take that's fun is when people take a spin, and I know people bust Stephanie Meyer's balls for Twilight, but I'm going to tell you right now, however they say that, it's a big TikTok thing now.
Yeah.
Poor Edward saying, the whole
Oh
but
yeah.
the Twilight, you know what I'm talking about, if you're on TikTok. But yeah, Twilight has come and breathed a whole new life now. People are crazy over Twilight, and it's like, okay, well, I'm not embarrassed to say I love Stephanie Meyer. I love teen vampire books. I always have. I love YA, and so. I've never lost my love of YA,
Yeah, wear
and
that flag proudly. I mean,
I
that's
do.
yeah.
I
Absolutely.
wear it. I love YA, and I know people look at me here. I'm an old woman, but I know I love YA, and Stephanie Meyer. God bless her. I do. I like the I like the woman. I like the way she and her little take. I don't like the sparkling element, but
Hmm.
because vampires, of course, don't need to be in sunlight and sparkle. But other than that, they're good and they're fun movies. I have to watch Twilight. The whole I have to watch at least once a year.
Oh
Stephen knows
yeah,
this. I will
yeah.
go through. I have to watch at least once a year. It's not something I watch over and over and over like I do, of course, Lestat or Bram Stoker's Dracula. But yeah, I do have to watch them once a year, and I would love to go to Forks. I think it's so cool. But being in this creative world, I appreciate the creativity when somebody does something different, and kudos to her. I mean, she did well, and we need to support each other and lift each other up in the creative world.
We do, and you've
Absolutely.
just you sound like you have a wide range of interest and taste when it comes to vampire stories. You
You
mentioned
better believe it.
Bram Stoker's Dracula. You mentioned the Twilight and
Yes,
others. So yeah, that's a you cover the waterfront when it
I
comes to
do.
vampires. Yeah.
I'm telling you, if it's a vampire book, I'll read it. If it's a vampire movie, I'll watch it. Steven
Uh huh.
knows this. I don't
Yeah.
care. As
Hmm.
long as it's got vampires, I'm there for it. And I've been that way since dawn of time, ever since I can remember. I always told mom when I was little I'm gonna grow up and marry a vampire. I didn't. I'm actually with a werewolf, but
Building
or a
bridges. Building
werelion,
Right.
I should
bridges is
say.
what
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
doing. Yes.
Yeah.
Holly, one of the reasons why, well, when we met, Dan and I just hit it off really well, and we both are vampire authors, and we kind of we had talked about doing something together. And a
Right.
year later, Vamp Chat is born. But when we looked at what other podcasts are there around vampires, we really couldn't find any. And it was like, why is everybody, let's wear this badge
And that's mind
proudly.
blowing.
And
Right.
let's
Right.
wear this badge proudly, and let's exclaim that we love vampires. We're vampire authors. I mean, and the response that we're getting from Vamp Chat is phenomenal. And there are a lot of other people out there that really like vampires. And
Absolutely.
Obviously,
We're finding that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Because
been around
previously,
for centuries now. So yeah, obviously the lore is alluring.
but previously, before Vamp Chat started, even I looked around. Anytime we searched for a vampire podcast, it was always a gathering of the fans for the Vampire Diaries, or it was
Yeah.
for fans
Right.
of Buffy the
Monster.
Vampire Slayer. So it's a very specific universe that they were gathering around. Whereas we're kind of trying to blow it all wide open and say,
Yes.
we are here to interview vampire authors or people who write a variety of fiction, and also
Yes.
we really want to dive deep into the folklore aspect, and then of course nerd out on our favorite films or TV shows.
Which is so fun because, like you said, you can go. There's a wide range. I love it all. I can the whole range of. I do not like Buffy. I'll say it right out. I don't like Buffy. I never did, never will, because I don't like vampire slayers. So
There you go.
I did like Van Helsing, but I didn't appreciate them killing, the vampires. But yeah, because I think the vampire should win at all times. But yes, hurts my heart.
Vampires are they're not just, they're across genres, they're across age groups. One of the things that my niece is a huge fan of the Vampire Diaries, and she always wanted to go to Covington, Georgia, because that's where they filmed it. And I had the idea, I thought, what, if you want to go to Covington, Georgia, then we'll go there, but then I'm going to take you to we'll go to your Mecca, then I'm going to go to my Mecca. And so we took a long weekend, and we went down to Covington, Georgia, and then I took her to New Orleans. And, we shared this entire trip, and it was around vampires. And, the downside is she wanted me to watch all of the Vampire Diaries before this trip. And God love it. I'm like you with Buffy. It was okay, but I couldn't sit there.
You don't like the Vampire Diaries?
You're
hurting me.
It was it was good, but I wasn't going to watch every single episode before we went on this trip.
Oh, well, no, obviously. But I will tell you, the originals, which was the spinoff, is 10 times better.
Love the originals. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, I would totally agree. But it, here we are planning this entire road trip around vampires. And it was spectacular. It was absolutely spectacular. And she got to see New Orleans. I got to see Covington, Georgia, and we bonded on this topic.
Huh? Yeah, that's really cool. That's
she's
a great story.
half my age. She is half my age.
There is no age, when it comes to vampires.
That's true.
That's what I said. I've loved them since I was a real little child. And I will always love them. I'm waiting on my immortal kiss of death. I'm still waiting. I ain't getting no younger. I'm just putting it out
there. She'll leave you like
there.
hotcake, man. She'll leave you like a hotcake.
Hey, I have an announcement. Episode 6 is now available for download.
Hey,
yeah,
there you go.
Wow, on the show.
Check it out, folks.
Yep.
During our
Hell yeah.
Fantastic.
That means after our show, you can buzz on over and listen to
That's
Vamp
right.
Chat.
Sample it out, follow them, and check out all the episodes.
Yeah,
I
can stop refreshing now and
you
just
can stop refreshing. Yeah.
So what drove you to come up with the idea? I know you were looking around, but like, hey, there's no podcast. But you guys had just met and didn't know each other that well, and the chemistry is just crazy. You guys are so great as co-hosts. So, I mean, I know it's like Imaginarium, but how did all this come together where you're like, hey, let's do a podcast?
Right. Yeah, initially the conversation started out, maybe we should do a YouTube channel, a YouTube show
channel,
or something like that. Yeah, but then eventually podcasts, and then eventually, I was talking with Stephen about what's a good podcast platform, and you guys were just about to move or had just moved to PodBean,
Yes.
Stephen had some good things to say about that. So okay, let's try PodBean, and it's been a good platform. We're slow learners. When it comes to technology, but we are getting there. But how did this show come together? I think it's just. There was a series of conversations starting in the spring that eventually, we were able to just launch it in late August, and we made it. We made the commitment, and we had a very specific way we wanted to handle the show. And I sort of, I borrowed from what I know, and that is radio. And how, because I spent 30 years
Yes.
in radio. And so I kind of wanted to, I thought maybe we should structure the show in segments, kind of like an hour of a radio program. And that allows you to tease what's coming up in the next half hour or so, so that you can keep people listening to the program. And so, and then for whatever reason, Eva, we decided that the show it would be scripted, but we would leave room for improvisation. But we would always have written questions to fall back on.
Yes, it's really kind of interesting because through this whole process, through the decisions to do it, through the conversations, through deciding how we were going to what segments we were going to do, where we were going to tease stuff. Every collaboration, I don't think we've disagreed on anything.
That's true.
I really don't. I don't think
we disagreed all the time. Wait.
Well, because Dan will have a suggestion, and okay, well, what about if we ask this question? And when we say scripted, it is scripted, but it's scripted to keep us asking the questions that we want to ask the authors, and to get our fanged folklore information correct and things like that. But every single suggestion that either one of us has made has always made the show better, and we've both been so receptive to each other's changes, because Dan will put out a thing and he's like, what do you think of these questions? And I'll go in and I'll be like, well, these are great, but I think we need to do this and this. And he's like, yes, let's do it. And and we really, we haven't disagreed on a single thing. No,
I mean,
I just said you guys mesh so well. It's great.
Yeah, and I think because of the way the approach, we can only do it every other week. I think it would just be too much. I think
the research would topple it.
The research, that would be kind of overwhelming for us to do it every week. Like you guys do a show every Wednesday, which is that's a commitment.
It is getting guests, and it is. It definitely is.
Yeah. So, I think that we've kind of come up with a formula that works for the show, and yes, there is that chemistry that we right away when we met last October at Fabled Forest.
Fabled Forest,
Fabled Forest,
Georgetown.
Yes,
and so I think I'm really excited for what season 2 has to hold up.
Yes, and oddly enough, Fabled Forest is where both of you fully came onto my radar. Was that signing?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
That's when I just
need to have a reunion event there.
I totally cool with that. Yeah.
Because I had just started getting to know Dan about that time, and then you had the signing with him, and I had looked up Eva. I looked up all your stuff, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was looking up about a Fury and everything, and that's
Steven's like, Holly.
Yep, that's kind of where the road began as far as myself and Holly knowing both of you, like we do now. So that's Fabled Forest. Bobby Craig must have worked some magic there.
I think she did.
When I met Bobby, she was like, "You've got to meet Holly. You have to meet Holly. You absolutely have to meet Holly." Mm-hmm. So, I guess we could thank Bobby for all of this. We need to get
Bobby,
her,
it's your fault.
Get her a present.
It's Bobby's fault.
I need to get out there and see Miss Bobby. We have to go see her soon.
Oh,
you're saying it's Bobby's fault, and I'm saying we need to get her a present. I mean,
yeah.
True.
Yeah, you guys were at the first location because they've moved to a second
Yes.
location
Mhm.
now. That's
Thank God those steps are gone.
wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah, the steps are gone, so
thank
yeah, you don't have to worry
God.
about that.
But
It's
I
a
did like the
great
wine below
story.
the stairs.
The
True.
wine
Yep,
shop. I do
the
remember
wine
Yeah,
that.
shop.
That
true.
was, yeah.
But now I
Literally though,
guess
it's
there's
only
one across the street, Steven said.
no, it's right on the same side of the street, just a
Oh,
little bit up. It's only a few
Yeah,
hundred
5
feet up
doors
the
down.
road,
5
like
doors
few
down.
well,
yeah,
I could do that
five
for wine.
places
I could
down.
do that.
Yeah, it's literally like right almost where the previous place was. You don't even have to turn off Georgetown Road if you come from Lexington. It's that easy to get to.
And if I remember
No
correctly,
turn.
Holly, one of your favorite wines is Apothic Inferno. Is that correct?
Yes. Oh my God, I
Oh, that's
love
good.
Apothic Inferno. I haven't
That's
had
good.
any this Halloween season yet.
Oh,
We
well,
didn't.
go. There's still one day. You still have a day to take care of that. So,
Yes, we
Well,
do.
every
yeah,
day's Halloween to me, so
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, totally.
But this is the only time of year I can actually wear my hat, and people don't look at me really strange.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, and to be sure to take lots of pictures when you during your broom ride tomorrow. I want to see. I want to see
Oh, I will
video. I want to
too.
see.
I will
Yeah.
too. I'm
Do
gonna
you,
have the whole
do you-
setup for handing out candy, and then I've got some, things to do afterward. Long as it don't rain, I'm gonna try to drag Eva with me.
yeah,
Excellent.
if she wanted to, Holly could actually pull out a full size iron cauldron. She's got a big one.
I do have
Woo!
a full size. It'll hold about 3 kids.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Mine
at least 3 children.
mine is not that big.
Oh, I have a ginormous one,
It's
and
huge.
I was on a movie set. My friend Silvio Wolfbush, bless his little heart. I love you, Silvio. Um, I did the catering for him, bless his heart, and I did the slate, and I did a little bit of everything. But I have my cauldron. He wanted my cauldron out there over the big
Christine.
fire, and I patinaed it and everything. And we were out there, and he got a blacksmith that he knows to actually build a iron stand for it, which
Oh,
now I get
nice.
to use because, well, he said, "What good's it going to do me?" So we'll share it. I said, "Okay." So it's sitting on that beautiful stand. I don't know why I don't have it in the front yard right now. I need to, but yeah.
It's big. Yeah, it's not easy to
It's
lug around.
yeah, it cooks at
Even
least
if you're
3
a
children,
strong
at least.
person, it's still a tough one to lug around. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's a big one. But it's fun. It's
Fun.
fun, and we're looking forward to that. So, what do you have as far as you guys do so many events? Definitely want to get on the
Yes.
radar some of the things you have coming up,
Where are you
event
going?
wise.
Do you want me to go first, Eva? Or?
Sure, you go first. Yours
Okay.
is
Yeah.
much
So
longer.
tomorrow's what?
Tomorrow's Halloween.
Right. Tomorrow's
Tomorrow's
Halloween.
Halloween.
I'm actually just playing that day. I'm not really doing any work that day. But I'm going to be at the Kentucky Book Festival on Saturday, November 2nd. Then, Stephen, I think you and I are both going to the Bullitt County Authors Fair
Yes, we are.
at the Shepherdsville Central Library November 16th. And then I'm going back to Shepherdsville for the Jingle Bell Book Bash on December 1st. That'll be at the Forest Edge Winery.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
And
we'll
then
both be
I'm-
doing some programming too, because as I understand it, I'm doing a panel with Lynn Tincher from the Ground Up Books on indie publishing. But I think you're doing a workshop on DIY book marketing, correct?
I will be sharing my PowerPoint, just as I
Yeah.
did at the Imaginarium last year. How to promote your books without spending money. Yeah.
Yeah, great book, folks. Highly recommend it. It is a book that teaches you about the value that you can get out of an appearance, even if you don't sell a lot of books at that particular event. It teaches you how to get value that goes beyond that and help you grow, even at any type of event. It's a really comprehensive way of looking at events and getting the most value out of them, and not necessarily being so stuck on how many books did I sell today, as seeing the big picture and the stepping stones and getting media and establishing yourself in a certain location and developing relationships with bookstores. It's amazing. So
Thank you. I appreciate
can't say
that.
enough about that. Yeah, it's really got a great take, and it's a healthy take. Yeah, it's something I think a lot of authors should read because they get too disgruntled sometimes when they go to a book signing and they only sell a few books. This teaches you to look at the broader picture and how to use
Network
events to
and
really help
networking.
you. Networking, yeah, it's all in there.
Networking is
Absolutely.
priceless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a part of it. Yeah, and that's why I love it, because it does
Thanks.
take that look. So I had to give you a shout out on that for sure, because that's it's a very handy book. It's not a long read. It's something that you guys all you writers out there can digest very quickly.
Well, we've got to ask this since y'all do so many book shows and conventions and conferences and things. What is your give us your number one tip
Well,
to selling at conventions?
make sure that Eva gets a chance to say her dates, though.
Oh yeah, tell us where you're going
That's
to
all
be
right.
first, and then you can answer
That's all
the
right.
question.
So on November 15th, I'll be at there's a book reading Friday, November 15th at Big Jack's Cafe in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Big Jack's is a big, I'm there all the time writing. But Eric Great is the owner and he's an author. And so he likes to pull other authors in. And we do an evening where we just get up on stage and read some of our work. So it's great. And then
it is a great event. I was happy to attend
That's
one
fun.
this summer, and I had a really good time at that.
Yeah, a lot of couples come out for date night, and not a kid event. I will say that, not for kids. This is an adult reading, but we have a great time. And then and on December 7th, I'm actually doing a workshop at Fabled Forest. So I'm doing the same workshop that I did at the Imaginarium, and that is how to plot your next bestseller or your first book. And I gave it at the Imaginarium, and it was so wonderful because the president of the Kentuckiana Romance Writers Group came up to me and she was like, "You have to give this to my group. You have to do this workshop to my group." So I just gave it to a group there, and they all loved it. And the president who had been in my workshop, she held up the paper that I hand out, and she had it all filled out, and she was like, I am using this, and it was so wonderful. So Bobby and I have been trying to get into have it there, so that's going to be at 2:00 on December 7th. So
Nice.
Those are the two things, the only two things I've got going right now.
That workshop space is nice. Bobby has a great space for workshops. It was golden for setting up for my signing this past weekend, but that's where the workshop will be held. But it was, it's great for holding workshops. I was sitting there just looking at it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is ideal. And Kentucky Romance Writers too, definitely give them a shout out. I love them. They've been at the Imaginarium every year, and they're coming next year, and such a great group of writers. Yeah, and yeah, definitely Missy Parker and Kelly Ferguson, everybody that's involved with them. They are awesome.
They're a fun group. Really
they
fun
are.
Group.
Yeah, they really
are.
are.
I did ask them though. I said those that had read my novel, I said, "What do you think of chapter 13?" And one of them looked at me and said, "Tame."
Yeah, right. Right.
Okay, you guys are romance writers. I shouldn't even compare. So.
Yeah, well, I've read a lot of. Well, I don't read a lot of romance, but I have read some. But chapter 13 of your book was, wow! I got to that, and I'm like, whoa! I looked at Steve. I said,
I remember when she got to that. I remember when she got to that part.
I'm like, whoa!
You literally had that reaction when she got there.
I was told it was tame by the romance writers, and I was like, "How?" And I'm sitting there going, going, my chapter was tame. I'm like, I'm not even going to go close to your stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't agree. No, yeah, that was good stuff. Wow,
Thank you.
But now, Holly, you wanted to ask them a question about conventions, I believe.
Yeah, what's your number one tip for selling at conventions or book signings? Take it away.
I would say that the first thing you probably need to do is get that media interview. The local newspaper or radio station. That's going to be the number one tip that comes to my mind immediately, because I'm very focused on media. So you have a news hook once you are scheduled at your local bookstore or a convention or even a library event, that acts as one news hook that you can go to an editor or a producer and say, hey, I'm coming to town, in 2 months, here's some information about my book, and then write to them again a month before the event. And then, hopefully they'll be interested, especially if you make a really compelling pitch and you include a link to a really compelling review of your book. And then, you'll probably end up selling more books as a result of the media interview than you do at the actual bookstore event. But for a convention, it's actually a lot easier because you get more people. I mean, that's just the other thing. Everything is scaled up, exponentially with a convention. So. I just try to be friendly and just, ask people what they like to read. And if they say they like gothic horror or vampires, I put my hooks into them and say, all right, here, let me tell you about my book.
I can fix you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the biggest thing that I've found is that when I'm at not so much a book signing, depends on the where it is, but if I'm at a convention or something like that, getting up and getting out in front of my table and talking to people, that's, and I know that's hard for a lot of people, but not sitting behind that table and not, just get up and talk to people at conventions and tell them about your book and ask them if what they like to read. I'm an introvert. I'm actually an introvert. Nobody would ever know that. Those people that really know me know I am, but I forced myself to learn how to be an extrovert at events. And one of the things that I did is I would go through the checkout lines at Walmart and Kroger, and I would make myself ask the person checking me out, hey, how's your day going? What have you been doing? Have you been busy or not? And it sounds crazy, but it got me practicing every single day. Because, I mean, let's face it, we all go to Walmart every damn day. But that practice got me more accustomed to asking, people I don't know questions. And so it's a skill that I've grown, and now I have no problem asking anybody anything. So that's just a little tip. If you're a little bit shy and you want to be more outgoing and tell people about your book, just start with a checkout clerk. I mean, they just sit there and run groceries across that thing all day, and most people don't ever say hi to them. So that's kind of the thing is just get out there. And one of the things that I discovered when we were at From the Ground Up Books this last Saturday with Dan is that having Vamp chat has actually been a really good thing, in that people would come in and we'd be like, hey, what do you like to read? Do you like gothic horror? And they'd be like, no. Well, do you listen to podcasts? And they'd be like, yeah. And we're like,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
check
Yeah.
out ours. Here's the QR code,
Right.
scan it. I think we had more interest in Vamp chat than we did in our books.
I think so, because listening to a podcast, just like we're doing right now, this is something that you could do and multitask. And I think that's something that is really appealing to people.
Yes.
If when you're at a bookstore and you're saying, here's my book, have a read, I want you to read this book. They have to make a time commitment. They have to figure out, okay, how am I going to fit this into my life? And it's, once they open the book and they start reading, they're going to like our books. But, there's that barrier there, I think, where they go, how am I going to fit this into my busy life? I can't multitask when I'm reading a book. And I think that there's a bit of, we just have to figure out how to get people to slow down, being like the Victorian times, and spend an afternoon reading,
Well,
In the parlor, we all need solace.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Podcasts are also very and I'm not saying go out and do a podcast. I'm not saying that at all. Podcasts are, though, very popular with the younger crowd. But what I'm trying to say is have something else. Whatever it is, have really nice tchotchkes on your table, or have something other than your book that you
Right.
can engage people with. That way, you're not just you're not like a, I don't want to say one trick pony, but it's not just your book that you're talking to people about. That find
Right.
some other commonality or something else that you love and do that that you can also pull into the conversation. Because we had that QR code scanned, how many times, Dan? I mean,
Oh, at least a dozen, I think.
it was yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
swag's always good.
Make it good
Bookmarks.
swag though. Make it good
Yeah.
swag. The
Yeah.
Right.
one of your, I can't, oh man, and I know her and I just cannot remember her name, but she does the marketing. She does a marketing book, and one of her things is don't have really nice swag, because that pulls people to your table.
Right.
Definitely does. Yep. And
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and give a shout out, because one of our listeners, Dwan Hearn, he has a great podcast as well, Sako and the Moon, that he does with Sako Toomey.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, great podcast. I had Carl Moore, I think, on this, or he's about to be on this week. My brain is scrambled at the moment, but but I think they have Carl Moore coming up, another good author. But it's a great thing Moon just said
Last
last Monday they had Carl on. And Carl's difficult to get on because he works a night shift in the financial industry in New York City. So he's part of that.
Wow.
He works with Japan.
Japan. So
Okay.
So it's quite. It's neat. Yeah, by day he's a creative. By night he's a financial guy. So, but I digress though. But a little bit. But but what you were saying though, the podcast. It's definitely something that helps. With the conversations and the swag advice is great. And I loved your advice about.
And even if you don't want to be
folks at the stores, that's a
that's
a really good tip.
But even if you don't, even if you don't want to host a podcast, go be a guest on a podcast or call into a podcast. Or, that helps.
Oh, yeah, it really does. I mean, it helped me when I was first invited onto the Star Chamber show more than a year ago. I mean, it helped me because I had just moved to this area and I was trying to introduce myself and my writing to the community around here, and including the Imaginarium community. And, it was really an important, breakthrough moment for me as a creative.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Same for me when I was on it.
And that's one reason,
reach
that's
out.
one reason why in our scheduling, we have people like we had Heather Graham and James Aquiloni and Michael Nost and all Jonathan Mayberry, all these story people. But at the same time, like last week we had Michael Small, who is doing one of his first ever podcasts in his life for his debut novel. So, we like doing that, because we do understand that, it's definitely, you need the opportunity and you need the chance to get going and do some of this, because the more you do this, the easier it gets.
And Eva and I want to continue that spirit, with Vamp Chat, especially if you write Gothic horror. We want to, reach out to us, send us your a PDF of your book or a review copy. We want to start conversations with authors who write fiction and the folklore part of vampires as well. So.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, love the fact that you have the multifaceted approach to it with the nonfiction, the lore, the history, along with the storytelling, along with the media. It's so cool. There's nothing. I hadn't seen a podcast like that out there. I haven't come across one.
No.
Yeah. And one thing is, if you decided to venture out and do something and do something different, keep at it. Don't give up. One of the things that
don't procrastinate. Get out there and actually. Yeah.
And I mean, we've been shocked. I mean, absolutely shocked by the response to Vamp Chat.
Yeah.
We've our very first episode had 62 listeners.
Oh, it's up to 91 now. But yeah.
I mean, our very, here's a brand new podcast just straight out of the gate. Our our author guest was a no-show. We ended up interviewing each other. And right off the gate, we're getting 60, and of course I didn't know any better, but now I know that's a
lot.
very rare, but it has just kept growing. And I think it's because we've put the time and effort into it to make it interesting, to make it, educational, to make it fun.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, our numbers are like, just every single time we turn around. We did a Facebook Live. What was hilarious is we did a Facebook Live from the ground up last Saturday, and we were watching every time we would refresh the Facebook Live would jump 10 views. I mean, it just we're in awe and humbled and so appreciative of the response that we're getting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome. Well, it's because you're hitting all notes with the vampire aspects, because you're covering the lore, and current writers, and you're covering, you talk about movies, you talk about, and you can't find one out there like that. So I mean, you're hitting the audience. You've found your audience.
And it really helps. It really helps. And I know that Stephen and Holly, you've discovered this, but having two hosts that come at it from slightly different angles, with slightly different personalities that nevertheless gel. Having two hosts really does make a difference, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Because you can play off of each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep each other on track. Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
And you guys do it so well.
All I know is we are having so much fun. And that's the other thing, is this is not work for us. This is not, it's, you think, oh my God, I want to start a podcast. Oh my God, I'm going to have to do this. Oh my God, I'm going to have to do that. Oh my God, I got to read this. No, it has not been like that at all. We've gelled so well. And then when we're on air, we just have a blast. And after every single episode, one of us will call the other immediately and he'll be like, that was so much fun. And
yeah, that's true.
You can tell when you listen to it.
And we're excited to like do the next one. And it's like, oh my God. And we've already got the map. We've got season 2 and 3 already, the matrix already created. Okay, I'm going to cover this and you're going to cover this. And, we're just having fun. And it's a topic that we love. And so it's not work for us. And that's the other thing, is if you're going to do something, different to help promote your book, have it be something you love.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't
fun.
Yeah, have some fun with it.
And I think for folks who are listening right now, and many of them either have been to or intend to come to the Imaginarium convention, it seems to me that collaborations of this kind, like we're doing with Vamp Chat, fit in, I think, with the ethos of the Imaginarium.
Absolutely.
Creators. Yeah, absolutely. And so if you want to start a podcast or something like that, find a collaborator, and that really, somebody you really can resonate with,
Yeah.
Yep.
All of us independent authors have to, we have to support each other, and we have to help each other. And, that's we don't have the big 5 or 6 or how, whatever it is now.
Millions of dollars,
Yeah.
The war chest.
And that's one of the things that we want, Dan and I want, is we want to promote authors, and we want to, it's paying it forward is what it is.
Yeah, and I think creating, or at least sustaining, a community. Whether you write romance or if you're another sort of genre writer, like sci-fi or fantasy, you got to find your people. Not only your readers, but the authors who are going to, encourage you, support you, maybe even edit your manuscript, that kind of thing.
Be brutally honest, beta read.
Yeah, absolutely. So, finding that kind of, creating a podcast like this will help you find your people, your tribe, and that's really an important thing.
Exactly.
And it doesn't even have to be a podcast. It could be a blog. It could be it doesn't have to be a podcast. You could find a way to help other authors, help help your tribe.
Mhm.
And that's what we are. We're a tribe. We've
That's
turned
exactly
into a
right.
tribe.
That's exactly right. And that's what we always tell everybody: find your tribe, find your
Yeah.
tribe. And then once
Yeah.
you do, because we lift each other up, it takes a village, and it does. I mean,
Yeah,
with a
creatively.
small process and independent authors, I mean, it takes a village, and we help lift each other up. A lot of people are like, "Oh, they're in competition." No, we're not in
No.
competition. We're in collaboration. We want to lift each other up, and in a small process, we all talk. I know William Joseph Roberts makes that point from Three Ravens a lot on his TikTok and everything. He's like, you don't realize it, but us small presses talk. And we do because we're all
Yeah.
Oh yes,
friends.
yes we do.
And we do
Yep,
talk.
we do.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, don't burn your bridges. That's another
yeah.
big
Don't
thing.
burn bridges. Yeah,
Don't
Yeah.
burn your bridges with people.
Yeah.
yeah.
You got to be careful.
One of the
Take the high
things that
road.
one of my things, one of my wishes that I'm striving for is, you remember the show Castle?
Yes. Yeah.
About the writer the detective writer that paired with the cop who became his muse. I love that show. It's one of my guilty pleasures. Whatever. But on that show, he has a poker game. He has a poker table. He once a month, he and other writers gather around a poker table and they play poker. But what they're really doing is they're sharing ideas, and it's
Hmm.
in the show. The other authors are real authors, like James Patterson, and they're not actors, they're actual authors in the show.
Neat.
But I
Yeah,
have always
nice.
wanted, because it's really, really hard to find, um you know you go to a lot of, and I'm probably going to be bad here, but you go to a lot of things at your local library or writers groups or things like that, and a lot of them are, um, they're hobbyists who write something, and then everybody critiques
Right.
them, and
They're
it's all
not wanting to do it for profession.
right. And so what my unicorn, or my dream, is to build a poker table of, just amazing
Nice.
authors that you don't have to you don't have to worry about, somebody stealing your idea, or that you can be open and honest with and say, "Hey, I'm working on this character. I don't know, I'm stuck. What do you think?" and take ideas and share. That's my dream, is to create, just the ultimate poker table that,
Hmm.
some serious authors can sit around and just, really dive into stories, characters, accountability, just, that's kind of my working on it.
Well, honestly, that's really. I mean, that goes back. That's the Inklings with J.R.R. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, Charles Williams, all those guys when they used to gather at the pub. The
Yeah.
Inklings,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's exactly what they were doing. And of course, yeah, they weren't playing poker; they were just sitting around drinking beers or ale,
Or bourbon. I'll
Yeah.
take bourbon.
possibly,
Or
yeah,
bourbon.
Yeah.
maybe,
Same
yeah.
here. Yeah.
So yeah,
But
but
I
Or
just
but
think
yeah,
wine.
but
I
yes,
think
that's exactly
that's
what.
been
Yeah.
lost. I think that
Mhm.
collaboration and camaraderie,
Camaraderie. Yeah.
when I saw that on when I saw that on Castle, I was like, I want that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I want that too. I think
Yeah.
that's really a great idea. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
Reserve a seat for me at your poker
Okay.
table.
There you
Let's.
go.
Yes,
I know
yeah.
I'll
I've
bring
talked
my
to.
pennies. I'll bring pennies.
I'll bring my Star Chamber Show bourbon tumbler.
There
That's
we
Oh,
I got
yeah.
go.
a
Yeah.
certain
Hey,
someone,
I
Hey,
which
got
is
a wine glass with that
a
on there.
wonderful gift from a certain someone. Yes.
Yeah.
just know that Vamp Chat ones are coming.
Ooh, yeah,
Ooh. I want merch. Merch.
Vamp
yeah.
Chat merch is coming out. It is coming.
Yes.
We are
Yes.
currently in the process of putting it all together. I'm telling you, it's been, for 6 episodes, Vamp Chat has exploded so much. And I
Yeah.
mean, we're looking
That's
at merch,
wonderful.
we're looking at sponsorships, we're looking
Yep.
at, a lot of things. And who knew? Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah, when we started this, that we would have such a response. But I guess there was a void, There, and
We
we
filled
filled
it.
it, and
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And you're having fun doing it, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
thank
what
you.
Yeah,
matters.
that's the
Thank
key.
you. Yeah.
But I think that's when you really produce good work, is when you like what you do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when- So,
100%.
as we get, unfortunate, God, I would like to talk for hours. I love talking to you guys.
Yes.
I literally,
Same.
just would
We
That's
sit
will
what
here
we
talk to
do.
you Saturday.
That's what we
Yeah.
do.
for
We
hours.
talk, and I'm not going to be able to make it Saturday, and I'm so upset.
Oh, no.
No.
And my quest
Oh.
to be in the same place as Dan Klefstad is finally going to happen, because we talk, online, we talk a
I
lot. We
got
talked on the
presents
phone.
for you.
We
You
talked
have
on
to come.
podcast.
I might. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. You know my
I
situation.
have a gift for you. You know you're always
Okay,
sending
I'm going to
little gifts.
try. I
Oh,
might
I
have
think
kids in tow. I don't know, but
I think
well,
Christine is
that's
coming.
fine too.
Holly, I think Christine is coming. So that, I think she's going to join us.
she
So
is
I think,
coming. Christine will
yeah,
be there
so
too. Yes.
yeah. Yeah, we have to give another shout out to Christine. She is just awesome.
Indeed. Yeah, she is.
My
Oh
awesome
man, yeah,
partner.
she
My
is. She
awesome
is
partner
on.
in crime.
She is on the ball. I mean, God, she is on the ball.
She is
But
my partner in crime.
yes, because it's like last year's Imaginarium is like, how things get when you run a big event. You're getting pulled in 50 directions. And my big thing on my mind was I've got to see Dan, and I did get to the workshop, and I got proof of it because I got the pictures of the standing room only
Yeah,
crowd
Steve's
he
like,
had.
I gotta
I
make
was there.
Dan's workshop.
I was there. So, but I got pulled away before the end of the workshop, so I didn't.
But he
actually
did make it.
Yeah, and then of course, who got to have a picture with Dan? Holly, of course she did.
I
Of course she did.
did.
Holly for the win. Yeah.
It's like Dan's my buddy, but Holly gets the picture. Dan's my buddy, but Holly gets the picture.
Yeah.
So anyway, Saturday I'll finally get to take a picture with Dan. Finally,
I look
finally.
forward to that.
Yeah.
That will be really great.
So
Yeah.
at the Kentucky Book Fair,
I'm going to go trick or treating in your neighborhood tomorrow night. So
nice. Well,
When
we're going
you
to see you
come
then.
here, I'm on the map. We are on,
We're on the
map.
Yeah.
Dan,
We are on the trick or treat map.
Dan, if you want to trick or treat, you can come here too. Don't worry.
All right. Sounds good.
We'll give you a glass of bourbon as your treat.
There you go.
Ooh, very nice. Okay. Yeah.
But as we get to the end, because I'm me, I would talk to you guys forever. I'd like to give you both a chance to give all the details on not only Vamp Chat but also yourselves, so folks can find you, all that good stuff. So
Well,
go
why
ahead.
don't you go ahead, Eva?
Okay. Well, as far as Vamp Chat is concerned, we're on PodBean. So it is Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva. And you can also find the episodes on Amazon Music, Spotify. I don't think we're on Apple, but you can the other podcast venues. You can reach us at Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva at Gmail. We're also on Facebook, Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva.
Yep.
So, and then as far as me, you can evavertrice.com. There's Eva Vertrice at Gmail. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Eva Vertrice. So pretty easy to find me.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook
And your
too.
book is?
Sorry.
My book is. I'm sorry.
I'm
my
sorry,
book
Dan.
is
No.
A Fury. It's called A Fury, and it's the first one of the Fury trilogy. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the easiest landing page to find out about my novel, Fiona's Guardians, or my DIY book promo book, is to go to DIYbookpromo.com, and you'll find all the links. Everything links out from there. So DIYbookpromo.com. And I couldn't believe that URL was available when I landed on it. Yeah,
brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So please find me on or on Facebook too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at events, catch him at workshops. I'm telling you, when I was there,
Yes.
Dan gives an amazing presentation.
Well,
And-
thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
and
that.
And I know Eva does too. And yeah, you got one coming up in Fabled Forest, and I might have to pop out to hang out and see that one. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah,
Love to
same.
see you. I would love to see you.
But we genuinely love you guys. You guys just
Yes, we do.
inspire us.
Aw.
You inspire us. Your positive energy. You're definitely you're they broke the mold when they made each of you. So it's one of a kinds.
Well, the feeling, to quote Terry Garr in the late, dearly departed Terry Garr in Young Frankenstein, the feeling is mutual.
Mutual.
Thank you.
Mutual.
And you share the love of my favorite subject.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Well, that's easy to win Holly over with that.
Yep.
But go ahead, Holly. I'll let you wrap her up. And yeah, thanks, Eva and
Oh,
Dan. You guys
can
are
Dan
awesome.
can Dan and I do one thing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We can never ever get this right.
Right.
So,
I got to hear this. Here we go.
So, and
Should I count? Should I count?
Sure, go for it.
1, 2, 3, go.
And with that,
we bid you
good
night.
We will never
I
ever
tried.
be able to
I
get
tried
that.
so hard.
Oh, that's great.
It'll be a sad day when we actually get that right.
You know, yes, it will. Yes, it will.
I thought by me counting it might help, but yeah,
No.
you almost got it. You were close. You were close.
Well, we'll have
It's
to have you back.
closer every time.
We'll have to have you back very soon so you can try again.
I will say that one of the fun things about the podcast is that right now we don't have intro music. So you get to hear all of the pre, and it's hilarious. And then you get to hear us flub the ending. So, we don't care.
Yeah. But we had a great time on the show tonight. Thank you, Stephen and Holly, for having us on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Love you guys so much.
We love you. And hope to see you both Saturday. And we'll see you, Christine. And have a few drinks. They make an awesome mule. Oh,
Ooh,
Moscow
yeah.
mule. They really do.
I might have to just pop by briefly just to see.
That's fine. Kids in tow.
Awesome.
That's great. We have 3 grandkids here that live with us. So yeah.
And fun fact, Dan and Eva, this bistro, the Joseph Beth Bistro, is where Holly and I had our very first date.
It is.
Really?
Ever.
Oh,
And we
that's
go.
exciting.
It gets better. We go every single year, which is my birthday, mind you, February 13th, day before Valentine's Day, anniversary, Valentine's Day, and my birthday. Stephen has a trifecta. Bless his heart.
It's tough.
That week really is rough on him, but he has to prepare all year. It's a holiday week.
It is
a holiday. Yes, very.
It is a holiday
we sit at
week.
the same
Even
table
the kids
every year. Same exact.
I was gonna say we homeschool the grandkids and they even get a couple days off for the holidays. So yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, they do.
But yes, it will be going on our 9th year together, 10th. It will be our 10th time in February, but we have sit at the same table.
Beautiful.
At the bistro on my birthday. We've done it every single year. And this will be number 10. Yeah.
Oh, this is a beautiful story, and I look forward to your posts about that from that restaurant from the table.
So that's where we're going.
Wait, we always do. They even make us they made us a name card.
Oh,
last year or the year before they made us.
No, last year they did.
Last year they actually put a table that said reserved for Stephen and Holly. Yeah.
So Dan, you may not have known that story, but that's why the bistro is a little extra special for us.
I can't wait to visit this hallowed ground or hollied ground.
It's hollyed ground. And maybe we can grab our table. That'd be fun.
That would be
cool.
Epic if we got our table. We got to do that for Dan and Eva and Christine. That'd be and Susan. I believe Susan's joining us.
My wife Susan will be joining us. Yes.
Oh, we finally get to meet the infamous Susan.
That's right, the mysterious Susan.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I finally get the skinny on Dan. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
We want all the Dan stories.
Oh,
there will be plenty, I'm sure. Yeah.
All
right,
thank
Ollie.
you guys so much for joining us. And yes, you gotta, obviously come back and give us all the skinny on your new stuff. Maybe springtime.
Yeah.
Tell us what you got going on. But yeah, thank you so much for coming. Everybody, check out Vamp Chat on PodBean and all your other, great podcasting platforms. And it's every other Wednesday, and it's all things vampires. What's not to love?
Yeah.
Hey, what's
And we
not to
start
love?
our second season January 8th, but we've got
There
6
you go.
episodes that you can download.
Bam.
Now that this program is over, the Star Chamber show is coming to an end. You can go ahead and download those 6 episodes and listen to them.
There you go.
Yeah.
After this, go download your episodes and take a listen.
All
But
right.
yes, good night, guys, and thank you. And everyone out there, thank you for listening. And join us next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Another great guest, another great chat. And for the rest of the week, be creative. And happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween,
Happy
guys. Okay.
Halloween.
All
Happy
right.
Good
Halloween.
night, all.
Good
Good
night.
night.